The midnight call pierced through my solitude, carrying a voice that would force me to confront memories I desperately tried to erase. I'm Jackson Marrow Jack to those who know me. At 38, I've carved out a niche as a cybersecurity risk analyst in Seattle, working for a firm that safeguards the digital infrastructure from collapse. My expertise lies in detecting threats hidden in lines of code, dismantling digital snares set by unknown adversaries. It's an isolated profession, and I excel at it. But that night changed everything. The voice on the other end belonged to Liam, my 16-year-old son, the only vulnerability in my otherwise impenetrable defenses. His words came out trembling, fractured by fear. "Dad, someone attacked me. I'm injured. I'm hiding in the basement." That's all he managed, pure terror crackling through the connection. I jerked away from my desk, where I'd been investigating a client's compromised database. Outside, rain lashed against the windows of my downtown apartment, while neon signs from below cast eerie patterns of crimson and azure across the glass. My pulse thundered in my ears. Liam was miles away in our suburban residence, a house I'd fortified with cutting-edge security systems of my own design. Surveillance caméra, movement detectors, everything imaginable. How had someone breached it? I snatched my keys and retrieved a Glock from my desk's hidden safe, running on pure adrenaline. No time for analysis. Just action. I kept the phone pressed to my ear as I rushed into the stormy night. "Stay where you are, Liam," I commanded, maintaining composure despite my internal turmoil. "I'm on my way. Don't make a sound." He mumbled something unintelligible before the connection dropped. The journey was a haze of rain-slicked asphalt and blinding headlights cutting through the deluge. Seattle's suburban landscape stretched before me, all peaceful neighborhoods and dark gardens, while my mind conjured horrific possibilities. Random burglary? Calculated attack? My profession had created adversaries, certainly, but none who should know my location. At least, that's what I believed. Then I saw my modern glass and brick home, unnaturally quiet beneath the thundering sky. The front entrance was destroyed, the lock shattered. My gut clenched. I parked the car a street away, tucked the Glock into my waistband, and approached stealthily, rain drenching my clothes. Each dark corner seemed to harbor threats. Every wind gust whispered warnings. I couldn't shake the growing certainty that whatever awaited inside wasn't just targeting Liam. This was deeply, intimately personal. Before we delve further into this chilling narrative, I'll take a brief pause. We'd love to know where you're tuning in from. Share your location in the comments below. And if you're captivated by this story's unfolding events, don't forget to subscribe to stay connected. Believe me, what follows will leave you spellbound. I crept up the porch steps, my boots making no sound against the rain-soaked timber. The living room was a scene of devastation. The couch cushions had been viciously torn apart. The television lay face down, and fragments of a shattered lamp crackled beneath my feet. My sophisticated security panel beside the doorway flashed crimson, disabled, suggesting whoever did this possessed intimate knowledge of its workings. A crimson streak marked the hardwood, leading ominously toward the basement stairwell. Liam. My heart lurched, but I maintained my composure. Years in risk assessment had taught me that panic is a fatal mistake. I traced the blood trail, weapon at the ready, listening intently for any disturbance. A faint rustling emerged from below, followed by a stifled cry. My son was down there, wounded and terrified, and someone or something had ruthlessly invaded my sanctuary to reach him. Little did I know that the ultimate betrayal still lurked in the shadows, coiled like a venomous serpent. I made my way down the basement stairs, each wooden groan beneath my feet amplifying the silence that followed Liam's cry. The atmosphere was thick with moisture and something more sinister, a metallic tang reminiscent of blood. My Glock remained steady, its familiar weight reassuring as I scanned the darkness. The basement, my private domain, was a labyrinth of outdated servers and electronic equipment I'd assembled for various projects. A lone bulb sputtered overhead, casting distorted shadows on the concrete walls. Then I spotted him. Liam, my boy, huddled behind stacked crates, his tall frame compressed as if trying to meld into the ground. His left hand gripped his right forearm, where blood seeped between his fingers. His eyes, terror-stricken and unfocused, met mine. "Dad, he's still here," he whispered hoarsely. My heart rate surged. I knelt beside him, my eyes darting across the dimly lit space. Every shadow seemed alive, each dark corner concealing potential danger. "Tell me who's here, Liam." I pressed, keeping my voice steady and authoritative to help ground him. He gulped painfully, grimacing as he repositioned himself. "This massive guy. I found Mom with him upstairs." They were intimate. When he spotted me, he lost it completely. Chased me down here, brandishing a knife. My insides clenched, not just from the immediate threat, but from the devastating revelation. Intimate. Sophia, my wife, with an unknown man in our home. The knowledge of her infidelity struck like a physical blow, but I forced the emotion aside. Survival took precedence. I placed my hand on Liam's shoulder, feeling his body quake. "Did he speak to you?" I questioned. Liam's head moved side to side. "Just screamed for me to leave. Mom yelled too. Told me to stay out of her fucking business." Then he started hunting me. A subtle scraping sound emanated from the basement's far end, near the exterior door leading to the backyard. My head whipped toward the noise. The overhead lights stuttered again, momentarily drowning us in darkness before resurging. I strengthened my hold on the firearm and signaled Liam to remain still. "Keep down," I instructed. "Don't budge until I give the word." He acknowledged with a nod, biting down on his lip to suppress a frightened sound. I advanced cautiously, navigating through defunct computer screens and twisted wiring, each movement calculated. The scraping noise repeated, more distinct now, like steel dragging across cement. My thoughts raced. This wasn't some random intruder. He'd circumvented my security measures, pursued my son with a weapon, and lingered after the confrontation. That suggested purpose. That meant he wasn't finished. I approached the back wall, where an oxidized toolbox sat displaced, its top partially open. The exit door beyond stood slightly ajar, allowing a streak of stormy night to penetrate. A silhouette shifted outside, tall and muscular, lurking just beyond the doorframe. My breathing halted. I inched closer, weapon raised, prepared to conclude this confrontation. Suddenly, a deep rumble emerged from the darkness, mechanical rather than human, like an engine roaring to life. Headlights blazed through the gap, momentarily blinding me. Tires squealed against wet gravel, and the figure disappeared as a vehicle accelerated into the storm. I rushed to the door, throwing it wide, but only glimpsed a black SUV's taillights vanishing down the road, swallowed by the downpour. He'd escaped. For now. I rushed back to Liam, securing my Glock in its holster as I moved swiftly to check on him. Despite his pallid complexion and the sweat glistening on his brow, he was breathing steadily. Quickly, I tore a strip from my jacket, fashioning a makeshift bandage around his arm to stem the bleeding. "You're going to be fine," I assured him. The words meant more to calm my own racing thoughts than his. His eyes locked onto mine, silently pleading for explanations I couldn't provide. "Why would Mom do this to us, Dad?" he whispered, his voice trembling with emotion. The question hung heavy in the air, unanswered. A burning fury rose within me, promising vengeance and answers. That SUV wasn't merely an escape vehicle. It was our first lead. Whoever this perpetrator was, they possessed significant resources, operated with calculated precision, and deliberately waited for my arrival. This confrontation marked not an end, but a beginning. I guided Liam to the living room sofa, draping a thick blanket over his shoulders while his injured arm rested against his torso. Though the room bore the scars of violence, the immediate danger from the basement had passed. Outside, rain hammered against the windows, its rhythm matching the throbbing in my temples. I needed clarity, but it wouldn't come from pursuing that black SUV disappearing into the darkness. The answers lay with Sophia, my wife, who had welcomed this chaos into our sanctuary. Hours later, just after 3 a.m., the front door's hinges groaned, followed by the distinct sound of her heels striking the hardwood floor. She entered, shaking raindrops from her umbrella, her figure outlined by the street lights filtering through the damaged blinds. She halted abruptly upon noticing me positioned in the kitchen doorway, my Glock conspicuously visible at my hip. "Jack," she uttered, surprise evident in her tone. "I didn't expect you here." I remained silent, reaching for the kitchen light switch. Harsh fluorescent light flooded the space, illuminating her disheveled appearance, smeared makeup, and a wrinkled trench coat bearing evidence of extended exposure to the storm. "Take a seat," I commanded, gesturing toward the table. "We have matters to discuss." She hesitated, scanning the destruction surrounding us before complying, folding her hands in her lap in a gesture of feigned innocence. I maintained my position against the counter, arms crossed, allowing the tension to build to an almost unbearable level. "Explain what happened tonight, Sophia," I finally demanded. "Why is our son injured and terrified?" Her lips moved wordlessly before she composed herself, attempting to mask her momentary panic with an exasperated sigh. "Whatever Liam told you, he's overreacting," she deflected. "He probably fell or got into some altercation." I slammed my fist against the granite countertop, the impact reverberating through the kitchen and making her visibly recoil. "Stop feeding me lies," I growled, my voice carrying a dangerous edge. "He witnessed you with someone upstairs. Told me the man came after him with a blade. You expect me to believe that's just some accident from falling down?" Her carefully maintained facade crumbled. Rising abruptly, her chair screeching against the floor, she began pacing frantically, her stilettos echoing like distant gunshots. "All right," she hissed. "Yes, someone was here. Mark was Vali. He's unknown to you, but he's a major player in technology investments. He's been assisting with a project, a genuine opportunity at something significant. I never anticipated Liam returning early and barging in." My jaw clenched involuntarily. "Assisting," I spat. "In our private quarters?" She ceased her pacing, her eyes blazing with challenge. "It's not as it appears, Jack. Things got intricate. Marcus has wealth, influence. He's committed to financing my next investigation, ensuring it reaches crucial audiences." The situation intensified. "Intensified," I echoed, tasting the bitterness of the word. I advanced toward her, my presence imposing. "So when our son discovered you, this Marcus character decided to slash him?" Color drained from Sophia's face, but she shook her head vigorously. "That's not accurate. Marcus lost control, all right? He never intended harm. I ordered him to leave after Liam fled. I had no idea he'd react so extremely." Her voice trembled, but I detected the evasion. She was constructing alibis, weaving deceptions to protect herself. I grasped her wrist, firmly but without violence, holding her in place. "Look directly at me," I demanded. "Did you tell our son to stay out of it while that monster pursued him?" She wrenched away, stumbling backward, and for an instant, I glimpsed guilt in her expression. "I never pursued anyone," she protested. "I was terrified too. Marcus is volatile. I couldn't control him." The fluorescent kitchen light intensified its drone, matching the rage churning within me. Marcus Vale. The name seared into my consciousness, becoming my singular focus. Sophia's explanations were riddled with holes. She wasn't merely caught in the crossfire. She'd orchestrated this mayhem. Her eyes betrayed something more sinister, a calculated gleam that suggested she was already strategizing her next deception. "You welcomed him into our home," I snarled, my voice descending to a menacing whisper. "You allowed him near our child, and now you're shielding him?" She assumed a defensive stance, her chin defiantly raised. "I'm not shielding anyone, Jack. I'm fighting to preserve my professional life. You're perpetually absent, consumed by your digital realm. Marcus understands me. He has his flaws, but he's not the demon you're portraying him as." I pivoted away, my hands balled into fists, resisting the violent impulse to demolish everything in sight. She remained blind to what I could clearly see. Marcus Vale wasn't just another affair. He was a calculated hunter, and Sophia had willingly become his accomplice. I'd track him down. He would face consequences. I couldn't risk leaving Liam in that house, not after Sophia's admission had chilled me to my core. As daylight broke, I had him secured in my pickup, his complexion still ashen from the night's ordeal, his bandaged limb held protectively against his body. We headed south from Seattle, watching the city's steely silhouette dissolve into an endless stretch of mist-shrouded evergreens. Our refuge awaited in Tacoma, a rough-edged port city where my safe house lay, a confined apartment above a seedy bar, purchased under an alias years before. Though sparse with its deteriorating walls and floor-bound mattress, it offered essentials: fortified security, concealed servers, and complete anonymity. I helped Liam settle onto the mattress, providing water and sustenance, noting his exhausted yet vigilant gaze. "Hanging in there, buddy?" I asked, kneeling beside him. He managed a slight nod. "Just stay with me, Dad," he whispered softly. I gripped his shoulder reassuringly. "Not going anywhere." The bar downstairs pulsated with a deep bass rhythm, its vibrations seeping through the floorboards as I arranged my equipment. A laptop, VPN router, and a maze of cables transformed the corner desk into my command center. Marcus Vale. The name festered in my mind like an infected wound I couldn't heal. Sophia labeled him a tech investor, but her justifications reeked of deception. I was determined to uncover the complete truth, even if I had to extract it from the digital realm myself. My fingers danced across the keyboard. First, breaching public records. Marcus Vale, 45, Vale Ventures CEO, a polished operation backing startups throughout the West Coast. His photograph emerged, showcasing expensive suits and a predatory grin that concealed darker intentions. But surface-level data wasn't enough. I ventured deeper, infiltrating encrypted forums and hidden networks from my past life, where information traders dealt in digital secrets. The discoveries sent ice through my veins. Vale's operations extended far beyond legitimate investments. Companies registered under his name channeled funds through offshore accounts, with transaction patterns indicating sophisticated money laundering. A disturbing thread revealed a startup's mysterious collapse, its CEO's disappearance allegedly linked to Vale's wrath. My stomach churned. Sophia hadn't simply encountered a wealthy admirer. She'd aligned herself with a dangerous operator, and our lives were now compromised. Looking at Liam's restless sleep, rage surged through me anew. Then my monitor alerted me to a flagged email retrieved from a breached server. Vale's message, sent recently to an unnamed recipient, read, "Target's kid got away. Clean it up before he digs too deep." My heart stopped. Target. Me. He was aware of my investigation. A floorboard's groan pierced through the bar's rhythmic thrum. I whirled around, Glock instantly raised toward the dark doorway. Nothing materialized. Perhaps just the window rattling in the wind, I reasoned unconvincingly. I lowered my weapon, heart racing, and re-verified the locks. Professional paranoia was familiar territory, but this felt unnervingly legitimate. Vale wasn't passive. He was actively moving, and that message confirmed Liam remained his target. I accessed the safe house's external surveillance, observing the alley below through grainy footage. Rain-slicked asphalt reflected a stuttering streetlight, deserted save for a passing stray cat. Suddenly, the lamp extinguished, blackening the feed. Possibly coincidental, or perhaps a warning. I returned to the laptop, determined. I construct an airtight case against Vale before he could reach us. Yet each keystroke felt like time slipping away as the darkness beyond our shelter grew increasingly oppressive. Marcus Vale's email gnawed at my consciousness, making stillness impossible. The Tacoma safe house, meant to be our refuge, felt more like a prison, with every noise and shifting shadow setting my nerves on edge. Though Liam needed my presence, inaction wasn't a luxury I could afford. Vale's downtown Seattle headquarters, a towering glass monument to wealth and hidden agendas, was my target. Intelligence suggested he'd be hosting an exclusive fundraiser for tech elites tonight, the perfect smokescreen for my infiltration. Before departing, I gave Liam explicit instructions: secure the door, maintain darkness, and alert me to any suspicious movement outside. His trembling acknowledgement and white-knuckle grip on the burner phone I provided spoke volumes. The 40-mile journey passed in a haze of wet highways and relentless strategizing. Vale's attempt to silence me would backfire spectacularly. The building dominated Pioneer Square, its elegant exterior illuminated by amber light from the rooftop gathering. I stationed my vehicle 2 blocks distant, concealed beneath a hoodie, carrying a backpack containing essential tools, lockpicking equipment, a USB loaded with infiltration software, and my Glock for insurance. My entry point was a service entrance, obscured behind a dumpster emanating stale alcohol and kitchen waste. I maintained a low profile, the urban soundtrack concealing my manipulation of the lock. After 60 tense seconds, the mechanism yielded to my steady hands, despite surging adrenaline. The interior revealed a dim corridor decorated with cleaning supplies and flickering fluorescent lighting. I navigated the space cautiously, evading security camera coverage while occasional laughter echoed from the celebration overhead. Vale's executive suite occupied the uppermost level, a seemingly impenetrable sanctuary. But I dismantled more sophisticated security systems before, and tonight would be no exception. The elevator was too risky, too exposed. I navigated the stairwell instead, ascending 14 grueling flights that left my muscles screaming and my lungs desperate for air. A steel door confronted me at the summit, its keypad casting a crimson glow. I retrieved my custom bypass device, a remnant from my less legitimate past. The gadget pulsed briefly before flashing green, granting me silent entry. Vale's office epitomized arrogance. An imposing oak desk, panoramic windows showcasing the Puget Sound, and a sophisticated computer tower secured within a sleek cabinet. Working swiftly, I breached the cabinet with a flathead screwdriver, inserted my USB, and initiated the extraction protocols, watching as files cascaded onto my external drive. Financial records, coded communications, evidence of laundered money flowing through shell companies. Perfect. Then a shadow stretched across the desk, long and menacing, extending from the doorway behind me. I remained motionless, watching the drive's progress indicator hover at 90%. Methodical footsteps approached, each click resonating with authority. I wrenched the USB free, pivoting as Marcus Vale emerged into view, his bespoke suit immaculate despite the late hour. His gaze sharpened, a predatory smile playing across his features. Like a cockroach, "Aren't you, Marrow?" He purred, his tone silky and dangerous. I remained silent, securing the drive and assuming a defensive stance. He made no move to summon assistance, showed no sign of fear. Instead, he struck with unexpected speed, slamming me against the window with bone-jarring force. My weapon skittered away, beyond reach. His fist connected with my jaw, but I evaded his follow-up, driving my elbow deep into his solar plexus. He stumbled backward, wheezing, as I drove him into the desk, scattering documents like wind-blown leaves. We struggled violently until I gained the upper hand, pinning him with my knee. "It's over," I growled. He chuckled darkly, blood staining his teeth. "Hardly," he spat, twisting free and landing a brutal kick to my side. The door burst open, revealing an ominous silhouette, but I didn't hesitate. Seizing the drive, I charged the window, shattering it with a chair before descending via drainage pipe to the alley below. Vale's furious threats followed me into the darkness, but I was already gone, melting into the rain-soaked night. I'd wounded him, but not fatally. Not yet. And that figure in the doorway? It wasn't ordinary security. Something about it chilled me to my core as I disappeared into the shadows. I staggered from the alley, my ribs throbbing from Vale's vicious kick, the purloined drive weighing heavily in my pocket. Rain lashed against my face as I bolted toward my truck, Seattle's luminous skyline blurring behind me. Though I'd left him bleeding on his expensive desk, the mysterious figure in his doorway haunted my thoughts. It wasn't security personnel or a party attendee. Its movements were too calculated, too precise, as if it recognized me somehow. Pushing the unsettling image aside, I slid behind the wheel, the engine thundering to life. While Tacoma and Liam beckoned, I had unfinished business with Vale's criminal enterprise. I reached out to Kessler, a gruff FBI contact who'd been indebted to me since a past operation. My voice gravelly, I announced, "Got something substantial, money laundering and tech fraud. Transmitting now." His grunt sufficed as acknowledgement. After uploading the files through an encrypted channel, I accelerated southward on I-5, the rain-slicked highway stretching endlessly ahead. 10 minutes later, headlights blazed in my mirror, approaching dangerously fast. A sleek black sedan carved through traffic with predatory precision. My stomach nodded Vale's operatives. They must have tagged my vehicle during the tower infiltration. I jerked into the left lane, tires shrieking, testing their pursuit. The sedan matched my maneuver, closing rapidly, its darkened windows concealing the occupants. A suppressed gunshot cracked through the air, shattering my rear window and showering glass across the seats. Heart pounding, I hunched low and accelerated, threading between a semi-truck and minivan. Another round struck the tailgate, sparks flying. These were professionals, intent on elimination, regardless of witnesses. One-handed, I retrieved my Glock from the passenger seat. I fired 3 rapid shots through the broken window, hoping to deter them. The sedan swerved, but maintained its relentless pursuit. The pursuit extended into the Puyallup Valley, with I-5 snaking through dense fog and agricultural terrain, the river's obsidian surface glinting to my left. My truck groaned under the strain, pushed to its maximum capacity, but my intimate knowledge of every bend and detour gave me an edge. I noticed a slim exit ahead, a maintenance road winding toward the riverbank, and took the turn aggressively, gravel spraying beneath my wheels. The sedan maintained its chase, its harsh beams blinding me through the rearview mirror. The path descended before ascending sharply, clinging to a precipitous slope with the turbulent Puyallup River churning beneath. Sweat slicked my palms, the Glock jostling on my thighs. A third vehicle emerged behind the sedan, a massive SUV, its chrome grille gleaming menacingly. The odds had shifted 2 against 1. My anxiety peaked. This wasn't mere pursuit. They were strategically corralling me. The service road terminated at a decrepit bridge, its wooden planks slippery from rainfall. I slammed the brakes, halting mere inches from the precipice. The sedan screeched to a stop alongside, blocking my leftward escape, while the SUV sealed off my retreat. A figure emerged from the sedan, lean and imposing, features obscured by a hood. He raised his weapon with calculated precision, seemingly relishing the moment. I acted instinctively, gunning the engine and ramming the sedan's flank with devastating force. Metal screamed as the sedan slid toward the bridge's edge, wheels spinning frantically. The figure lunged for the vehicle, but too late. My truck surged forward again, pushing harder, and the sedan toppled, shattering the guardrail. It plummeted into the churning waters below, the impact muffled by the river's thunderous flow. The SUV charged, crushing my rear bumper, but I wrenched the wheel, breaking free and speeding back toward the highway. Trembling, I grabbed my phone and dialed Liam. "Answer, kid," I whispered desperately. He picked up on the second ring, his voice tremulous with fear. "Dad? What's going on?" I inhaled sharply, glimpsing the SUV's persistent headlights in my mirror. "I'm safe," I assured him, "but we need to leave. Pack essentials. We're no longer secure here." He began objecting, but interference disrupted the connection. Static or something more sinister. The call died abruptly. Dread constricted my throat. Vale's influence exceeded my expectations, and the second vehicle confirmed multiple hunters on my trail. I'd eliminated one, but another pursued relentlessly, while the river's dark depths whispered an ominous warning I couldn't dismiss. The SUV's high beams pierced my rearview mirror, a merciless glare slicing through the dense fog blanketing I-5. My truck groaned in protest as I pushed past 90, leaving the dark waters of the Puyallup River behind. Though I dispatched one of Vale's operatives into the murky depths, this second pursuer remained persistent. Pain radiated through my ribcage. My fingers clenched white-knuckled on the steering wheel, while Liam's disconnected call haunted my thoughts. I had to reach him, extract us both, but the highway ahead coiled into a tunnel, its concrete throat illuminated by stuttering sodium lights. The SUV lunged forward, its front end connecting with my rear bumper, the impact jarring my entire frame. I veered sharply, scraping against the tunnel's wall, generating a brilliant cascade of sparks. A gunshot thundered, penetrating my tailgate. I ducked instinctively, residual glass particles stinging my vision, and accelerated through the tunnel's exit, silently willing the Tacoma turnoff to appear. The safe house materialized ahead, a low-slung brick structure overshadowed by the pulsing neon signage of the bar below. I careened into the alley, extinguished my lights, and sprinted upstairs, Glock ready. The door hung loose, its hinge shattered. My heart seized. "Liam," I whispered urgently, pushing inside. The space was devastated. Upturned mattress, collapsed server equipment, wiring scattered chaotically. A weak moan guided me to the bathroom. Liam was propped against the bathtub, blood seeping from his temple, clutching a broken chair leg defensively. "Dad," he rasped. Someone broke in. I struck him, but he fled. I surveyed the darkness, every sound amplified as a potential threat, and lifted Liam up, supporting his weight. "We're leaving," I declared. "Now!" Heavy footsteps thundered below, rapid and determined. Vale's reinforcements had located us. I hauled Liam down the fire escape, his injured body hampering our descent as angry voices filled the alley. A shadowy figure materialized below, weapon drawn, but my reflexive shot found its mark, grazing his upper arm. He stumbled backward, giving us the opening we needed as we hit the pavement running, my vehicle beckoning like salvation 20 yards distant. Gunfire ricocheted off the metal dumpster while I bundled Liam into the cab, tires squealing as we lurched forward. The SUV thundered around the corner, its chrome grille gleaming menacingly in our wake. The pursuit continued through Tacoma's rain-slicked streets, neon signs bleeding into streaks of color. I wrenched the wheel onto a remote logging track, gravel spraying beneath us, the SUV's headlights filling my mirrors. My phone vibrated. Kessler's voice crackled through. "Target secured. Vale's in custody. Federal agents are sweeping the tower." Despite the news, our pursuers maintained their relentless chase. These weren't law enforcement. They were desperate loyalists, clinging to their crumbling empire. The path ascended sharply, constricting to a treacherous ridge bordered by a precipitous drop, towering pines swaying ominously above. The SUV slammed into us, the impact sending my truck sliding precariously near the precipice. Liam clutched his seat, terror evident in his gaze. Jaw clenched, I executed a calculated maneuver, braking suddenly. The SUV hurtled past, momentum carrying it through the barrier and into the darkness below, its destruction marked by twisted metal and a dull impact. The ensuing quiet was broken only by our labored breathing. I turned to Liam, noting his pallid but determined expression. "We need to move," I stated. "The Canadian border's near. I have connections there." He acknowledged with a shaky nod. "What happens to Mom?" he questioned. I remained silent. Sophia's duplicity had incinerated our existence, leaving us fleeing from the wreckage. We slipped into British Columbia concealed beneath smugglers' blankets, finding refuge in a remote cabin near Kamloops, an anonymous shelter unburdened by memories. Kessler's update came later. Vale's organization has disintegrated, his arrest dominating headlines, decades of financial crimes ensuring his imprisonment. Sophia faced prosecution too, her research funding linked to his illicit operations. She sacrificed everything: her profession, her freedom, her family. Divorce documentation arrived weeks later, formally ending our fraudulent union. My career evaporated, my reputation tainted in my field, while Liam lost his entire world except me. We slowly reconstructed our lives in that wilderness sanctuary, but the impact endured. Deception hadn't merely destroyed her. It had fractured us completely, scattering our remnants across time and territory. I learned brutally. While truth wounds, lies leave permanent scars. And so concludes this harrowing tale of betrayal and survival. How did this ending resonate with you? Was it what you anticipated, or did it take you by surprise? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this story captivated you, remember to like and subscribe for more gripping narratives. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Until we meet again.